Now on to the Dynasty receivers. This is where things get interesting, folks. The wide receivers, which are far more often the cornerstone of your team, right? They last longer. They can just week in and week out put up their numbers and their points. So I get that. Now, at the top, I got to go with the guy that just set the rookie record. That's Justin Jefferson. Maybe, though, I have a hard time going anybody over Tyreek Hill, to be honest. Give me the guy that's attached to Pat Mahomes for the rest of his career, right? Like, that's pretty easy math for me. Love A.J. Brown. I think, Julio being there might hurt him this year, but long-term, that guy is an absolute monster. And then Adams at 5, makes sense. Life without Rodgers is going to get tough, but he's been quarterback proof. He's just a little bit older than these guys, right? Everybody else in here was, drafted the last 3 years. Adams was drafted in 2014, so, he's a little bit older, a little bit less shelf life here. I do actually love Diggs. You got to have Diggs. What class was Diggs? 2015, so a year above Adams. He's still got 6 more years with Josh Allen. That rapport is just insane. I'm going to be a little bit higher on Diggs in Dynasty here. I'm going to be a little bit higher on Calvin Ridley, I think. I'm a big Ridley guy. This is tough. It is tough to separate Dynasty and long-term from redraft. But to me, I think Ridley's just a stud. He's going to be a stud. I think Hopkins obviously is among the best, but he's going to be one of the older guys. 2013 draft class. He'll be an alpha for 5-6 more years, though. So I can't take anybody. I can't take, as much as I love CeeDee Lamb, I can't take him above a Mike Thomas or a DeAndre Hopkins. I need that sure, locked in, give it to me all day. I do love Godwin, but I am worried about what becomes of those guys when Brady's leaves. Who's their quarterback? What happens there? I think DJ Moore's a little overrated. I get he's due for the touchdown regression positively. I get he looks studly while he's out there, but part of me is if it hasn't clicked yet, when's it gonna? I'd rather have a Terry. I think Terry's better. I think Terry's better than Godwin. I'm into that. I like Amari Cooper. I think Amari Cooper is a little underrated here. Ayuk. This guy looked like a stud, and I understand Debo might be the true alpha. I understand Trey Lance, the passing volume might be there, so it's tough for me to get too high on him. I do think CeeDee Lamb might be that next, alpha. So I do have, I think Jamar Chase, though, has to be, blind faith. I think he could be as good as anybody in here. He might be number 1 or 2 next year. So I would put him right there in my top 7. I think Chase is going to be that good. Maybe not right away, but eventually, and maybe right away. Last time he played on the field, he led the NCAA and touchdowns, receptions, playing with the same quarterback he's going to be playing with this year. I like Sutton as a player, but you got to be a little concerned about the quarterback here. I like Allen. Allen Robinson, same class as Devontae, but people view him as he's this ancient. No way. Allen Robinson's an alpha, and he's going to be playing with Justin Fields next. He is on a franchise deal, so he might be out of there, but I see them re-signing him to be the alpha with this guy for a long time. So I'm into Allen Robinson for a long time. T. Higgins, I think, is a beast. I think I even rather like T. Higgins over an Ayuk because of how much more passing volume he's going to have through his career. I honestly like T. Higgins more than DJ. I get the DJ more love, and then I don't get it. Robbie Anderson out-targeted and outscored him last year. Why is that going to change? And where's Robbie Anderson on this list? 51? Huh. Outscored him last year. 51. Mind-numbing. Mike Evans is just a stud. Like, I don't care the draft class, all that stuff. Like, he's a stud. And Robert Woods, like, when was Woods drafted? He's not that old. Like, this is where it gets tricky. Like, what's this balance of these studs that we've seen do it and these young guys that could be the next monsters? So hard to figure out, like, which way to go. Dynasty folks, like, comment in now or comment in after. What do you do with, like, a Robert Woods? Odell? Like, tell me Odell can't rebound? Just 2 years ago, he would have been right up here, right? Like, and now he's – now, I will say I do love Chase Claypool. But I also love Devonta Smith. Giving him a huge bump up there. I think Devonta's the Eagles' alpha for his career. Like, I love Devonta. And I know that's polarizing, his weight, all that stuff. But nah, Devonta's it. He's the real deal. So is Deontay, though. I can't have Deontay below Claypool when Deontay's the alpha. I guess the risk with these guys, though, is like, who's their quarterback? Similar to Devontae, and similar to Mike Evans eventually, and Chris Godwin. I don't know that I can be like this all in on Godwin. I am that all in on T. Higgins, though. Maybe I'm nuts, but fucking love me some T. Oh, Keenan Allen's got to, like, come on. Keenan Allen? Justin Herbert's locked in number one for the next, like, 7 years. You can't pass that up. I gotta put Keenan Allen right there, 14 in that tier. I wouldn't be surprised to see Kenny Golladay have a big career revival, but, you know, still young, 2017 draft class. But that's tricky. Part of me is wondering what to do with, like, Hopkins and Keenan, like 2013. Like, how old? When is the wide receiver cliff? Those of you that know that stuff a little bit better than me. You know, I don't pay as much attention as you guys. Not new to. I think Debo, though, if we're talking like Dynasty, right? Like, he could be the number one there. So I think Debo was significantly underrated. I think Rashad Bateman could be the alpha for a long time there. So I think he needs to bump up. So you guys can definitely see who I'm a bit higher on here, huh? I love Elijah Moore. I think he's a stud. I think I have him above Jalen Waddle. But I'm gonna add a tier. Put it right here. I don't know that Juju is above these guys. I like Jerry Jeudy's route running. Robert Woods, I don't. It's so hard for me to, like, balance out, like, what I think about someone redraft where he's top 15 versus Dynasty. Tyler Lockett the same way. Like, when was Lockett drafted? 2015, so he's still young. Deontay, 29. Yeah, like, I'm still in on these guys. I do think I prefer Claypool. He's like a monster athlete, like, just freak show. I think Lockett's got plenty of time left, though. I think this new offense is going to be monstrous for him. I think Elijah Moore belongs in this tier too. And I think these Rams guys are going to be beasts for at least those next few years with Stafford. So I'm bumping them up. I'm putting them in there. I'm bumping Odell up. Like, Juju is ranked pretty high on here, but he's not old, but he's maybe the third fiddle on his own team. He's only a year contract, but, like, what's, you know. All right, now we're getting into, like, these young guns. So I said, I think Robbie Anderson is significantly undervalued on this. I do think Jerry Jeudy's a screaming dynasty buy, though. I wish he had a better quarterback, but man, his routes are sick. Whew. Only thing holding Debo back is injuries. Is an SC alum that was even – yeah, that's a very good point. Like, the injuries are very real. But man, if he is like a Keenan Allen, as I keep bringing up, is like the guy that was always hurt and then finally got it together, he could go down as a dynasty steal. That Debo Samuel. From here, I do like these reports about, like, I'm not a chart guy. Haven't really ever been. Don't think I ever will be. I prefer Visca there with his new staff. I think his skills fit that system better. I think like Julio Jones, like if you're getting into this range, it's like, why not get the guy that you're going to get 1,000 yards from this year, 1,200 yards from this year? Go get him now. Come on. But again, this might be where my like dynasty greenness comes through, because this is where it's like, how do you value age versus production versus provenness versus upside? Like, it's a tricky balance. I do think Fuller, as injury prone as he's been, has plenty of good years left. I think Waddle, I'm lower on him. Give me more. Give me Bateman. I'm not a Waddle guy. I'm not. I think I might be a little high on Devontae Smith too. I'm not going to put him in this tier, but I really do think he's the next big thing. And now it's like, okay, so where do the rookies slot in with these like old proven? Oh, I think Marquise Brown's going to have a nice little turnaround. I do love Curtis Samuel. I think Washington's going to use him perfectly. I think it's too early to give up on Rager. Thielen's kind of that classic, like, are you win now? Well, Thielen's still going to have at least, 1 or 2 more stud years in him, but he's hitting that cliff soon. Versus like Rondale Moore, unproven, but damn, he could be good. Big Gabriel Davis fan. I'm going to bump him up. I think Tony's underrated for where he went. I'd rather have Tony. Not a big Corey Davis fan. I think that ship has come and sailed. I'd rather have Landry's still got a few years in him. What year was Landry drafted? 2014. So yeah, Landry's significantly undervalued here. I think this makes sense. We'll get to 50 receivers and then we'll switch it up. So, well, yeah, we got like Gabe Davis here. Let me just see if there's any guys I would throw out there a little bit higher than what we're seeing. Do like Diami Brown a lot. I think Ruggs is useless. I'm not going to go for him. Not on my list. Ruggs ain't one of my guys. I think Mike Williams has a big bounce back, though. He's a dynasty buy right now. I would have him over all these guys. I think he's going to have his career year and like really take off this year. But down here, yeah, there's N'Keal Harry. He probably was like what up here, like top 20 a couple of years ago. That is just sickening. Yeah, this is about. I'll get McCole Hardman up because again, I'll go for the pieces tied to a Mahomes offense any day of the year. I think he has like the highest pass rating when targeted the last 2 years combined. Mari Rogers, like there's Antonio Brown, like guy can still do it. He's a screaming dynasty buy. Terrace Marshall I love, but the injury concerns do make me nervous. Darnell Mooney, I'm a big fan of. I'm going to bump him up. He's got a big, long-time ceiling, in my opinion, with Justin Fields. Especially if Robinson leaves, I could see Mooney, like, exploding. I'm not a Mims guy. I think his ship has sailed before it even got out of the fucking harbor. Just seeing if there's any names down here that I really like. Not really. I'm going to X out of a lot of these guys that just don't really matter to me. So I'll clean that up a little bit later, the receivers. But that winds it down for them. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments. Check out some more videos and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.